Hello gang, Tattoo Biker here with you, and tonight I've got 3 bizarre cryptid encounter stories straight from incredible viewers just like you. First up, we'll travel to the rolling hills of Wisconsin, where a nighttime drive down a dark country road takes a chilling turn with a glimpse of a green-eyed, cat-like biped. What did this driver see out there in the darkness? Next, we'll journey to the heart of the Navajo reservation, where a non-native school teacher experiences something strange and unexplainable while navigating the tribal lands. And finally, we'll be heading to West Virginia, where one witness comes face to face with a gathering of what he believes are mothmen. Are they harbingers of doom or simply misunderstood creatures? It's going to be a wild one, so grab your boots, tighten your saddlebags, and let's ride to cryptid country.
Number 1. Hey biker, for many years I've been haunted by something that I saw in the backcountry of Wisconsin. It was early spring and I was headed down a dark country road around 8 p.m. south of Barron. Surrounded by trees, I drove over a hill and then a little ways down the other side, and I saw the reflection of green eyes near my driver's side window, about 6 feet high. I was confused because they were right by my window, and I didn't see anything in the road ahead of me a second earlier. It was like it was trying to be invisible and had appeared just a moment too soon. I drove a little further and decided to turn around and see if my eyes had played tricks on me, or if it was indeed an animal of some kind. As I approached, my mind whirled because my brain could see an animal there, but then an overwhelming sense of fear overcame me when I couldn't assign a known animal to it. I pulled up to it, now only about 20 feet or so away. I was horrified by this time, and I knew in my heart that I couldn't take my lights off it or I would die, or at least that's what my gut was telling me. There in front of me stood a creature, approximately 6 to 7 feet tall to the top of its head. It had the head of something like a cat and the muscular body of a dog, but it was the size of a cow and standing on 2 feet. It had cat-like ears, but short-type snout. But overall, it was definitely not a cat. It had cocoa-brown fur with dark brown zebra-like stripes running throughout. It also had a dark brown mane running down its back. Its green eyes were on the front of its head. Out of fear, I flashed my headlights at it and then honked my horn, hoping it would run off. It only looked as if I'd infuriated it as it brought its head down to the ground, keeping its eyes on me as if it was threatened. Several times the thought crossed my mind that it, in fact, was strong and big enough to bash in the windshield, rip me out of the car, and then eat me right there alive. I knew it wasn't going to be the one to back down after flashing my lights and honking at it, so I decided to keep my lights on it and slowly back down the road in reverse. I did just that, as it intensely stared at me as I reversed about a quarter mile, and then did a hasty U-turn in the road before peeling it out of there. Nobody has before or since mentioned this creature anywhere I've ever read. Now, as far as animals go, it was way too big to be a deer, too lean and muscular for a deer as well. It had these cat-like features, but it was way too tall to be any kind of large cat that I've ever heard of. I've lived and hunted in this area for many years, so I was very in tune with all the animals native to the area. I sure hope that someday I find someone else like it, who's experienced this demon-like animal like I did. Thanks. Signed, Keith. Number 2. Hey biker, I have an odd experience that I'd like to share. It happened between Crown Point, New Mexico and Borrego Pass on Navajo Tribal Road number 48. I'm a non-native American who has lived and worked on the Navajo Indian Reservation there as a school teacher on several different occasions. The most recent gig was from November 1997 to June of 2000. As a lifetime resident of New Mexico, I've driven hundreds of thousands of miles, with tens of thousands of those miles at night. I consider myself a very experienced nighttime driver, as I've seen almost every type of mammal and animal, both wild and domestic, that New Mexico has. I've seen deer, elk, cattle, horses, sheep, dogs, cats, rabbits, mountain lions, badgers, skunks, porcupines, etc., all while driving at night, and I recognize them all. When I first started working at Borrego Pass School in '97, I was making a home visit to one of my students. His name was Billy, name changed here. Now, Billy was a brilliant boy with a higher than average IQ. He told me on that visit that their neighbor, a mile away, was a skinwalker. I scoffed at Billy and said something like, "There's no such thing." But Billy, he insisted, saying that the neighbor changed into an animal and came to their house and looked into the windows. This was all pretty fascinating to me, but I pretty much forgot about what he had said. Around 1998, I started teaching night classes at Dine College in Crown Point, teaching astronomy. The class would end around 10 p.m., and I would head back home to Borrego Pass, some 18 miles to the east. One night after class, around 10:15 p.m., sometime in the spring, I'd say April or May of 2000, I was driving my 1998 Ford Escort on Navajo Tribal Road number 48. I drove about 50 miles per hour because of the possibility of horses or livestock crossing the roadway. I always noted Billy's house off the road at about the halfway point to my home. It was kind of like one of my waypoints. It was about this time that suddenly something weird passed from right to left in front of my car's headlights. This was the strangest creature or object that I've ever encountered on a road. It was a large, shapeless hole that didn't reflect any light whatsoever. My car's headlights simply disappeared into it and were swallowed up into the darkness of this mass. I saw no definite shape, no legs, no head, no eyes. Just this weird, shapeless black hole. I've never seen anything quite like it before or since, but whatever it was, it gave me the creeps. Really seriously. I had chill bumps and couldn't stop shaking. I remember being scared and speeding up. I leaned on the gas and pushed that little car up to 70 miles per hour. Got to my little duplex at Borrego Pass ASAP. I got into the apartment just as quickly as I could, locking the door behind me. I then sat in the living room, trying to figure out what it was that I'd seen. The next day, I told one of my Navajo friends about the experience. His jaw simply dropped. He immediately said it was a skinwalker, but that I had nothing to worry about, since they can't harm white men. Still, it was weird. I've told this story to several Navajos, and they all have pretty much come to the same conclusion that it was a skinwalker. Weird stuff for sure. From everything else I've seen or read, a skinwalker just didn't fit. A logical explanation says it was a misidentified black dog or black bear. But I know what I saw, and it wasn't that. Plus, the feeling of fear and anxiety I had wash over me. It all just doesn't make sense. Another weird thing happened to me one night, but not the same night as my skinwalker or whatever it was encounter, and probably not even related. One night, when driving back from Gallup, New Mexico, I was tailgated by a Ford Bronco, the old original type, driving without headlights. I wrote this off as just some guy using me as his lights, since maybe his didn't work, or he was drunk, or maybe both. I sped up as fast as I could to shake him. I don't remember where he went exactly. He was just suddenly gone. But obviously, he didn't follow me back to Borrego. Thanks for reading. Signed, Michael. Number 3. Hello, TB. I just wanted to give a correct description of the Mothman because, well, I saw them up close in 2011 in McDowell County, West Virginia, close to the town of Bradshaw in my backyard, perching in a huge tree. I observed them for some time in horror. They have these elongated skulls, and their nose and mouth kind of favor that of a cat until they open them from both sides and show 4 rows of sharp teeth. There were males and females there. The males standing to be 9 feet tall, and the female maybe 2 feet shorter. They were perched in the trees like gargoyles, but they stood up and I got a good look at them. Their eyes and skulls were elongated, and their teeth were sharpened to points. They were covered in brown and black through parts of the face, feet, and hands, and the wings were black with talons. They didn't have butterfly wings. They had these wings like an angel, with talons. The wings attached on the back and at the wrist. The movie Jeepers Creepers was close except for their faces. When they took flight, the wind beneath them made the ground seem to shake. I noticed while I was watching these things for close to an hour that they seemed to communicate, and there was a sound coming from them that sounded like an old locomotive screeching of wheels, and they would clack their teeth at each other before they took flight. These were terrifying creatures. If I had to guess, I'd say they've been here with us all along, as I feel these creatures maybe live under the ground and only hunt at night. The red eyes glow when the light hits them, and I felt like I'd just seen some fallen angels, not the pretty ones that you see in pictures. God is the master of the skies, and I'm sure that He's got many creations that us men haven't discovered. I pay more attention to my surroundings now, thanks to this experience, and I'm always checking the trees. I'm in my right mind, don't use drugs or alcohol, and I wouldn't tell a lie to doom my soul. I swear that I really witnessed these events. Thanks. Signed, Jake. And there it is. 3 of the strangest cryptid encounter stories that I've had in a while. So, what were these witnesses seeing? I can't wait to hear your thoughts and theories down in the comments section, but please, keep it respectful to the witnesses. And if you've had a strange encounter or an unexplained experience that you'd like to share, just send it to the email address in the description and, well, your story might just wind up in a future video. Anyways, thanks for riding with me tonight. And as always, stay curious, stay vigilant, stay safe, and I'll be seeing you on down the road a ways. Biker, out.